She's a fantastic lady. She's called Chris McCurley. She's a lawyer and she's a human rights activist. Chris McCurley.
Hello everyone. I'm glad I've got a microphone because I'm losing my voice, so just bear with me. I've really got a bad throat. I couldn't believe it. He hadn't even landed. And he's slagging off his host in the most horrific, racist way you could think possible. Mayor of London, and he's calling him out. We should have just put him back on the bloody plane and sent him back again. As a human rights lawyer, I'm really more scared, I think, now than I've ever been. And I grew up in a coal mining family. It was all the NUM, workers' rights, human rights, women's rights. And they're all being stripped away from us. And there's a book by a philosopher, political philosopher called Hannah Arendt. And it's called On Totalitarianism. And she knows all about totalitarianism because she grew up in 1930s Germany and she was Jewish. And one of the first things that the Nazis did in order to take away the humanity of the Jewish community was they made them non-German. They took away their statehood. And if you take away someone's statehood, if you make them less than everybody else, then it becomes so much easier to do what happens next. It really was the forerunner of the genocide because people felt that the Jewish community were not as good as they were. Well, think what's happening now to the Muslims. I was interviewed on the BBC last week about Shimon Begum, and I was asked, why should she have the right to come back to the UK? Well, I mean, apart from the fact that it's British law, international convention rights, and the interviewer was saying to me, but surely, after everything she's done, she shouldn't be allowed back. But that's the thing about human rights. They belong to us all. They're not gifted to us for good behaviour. They are absolutely universal. But my fear is, under this totalitarian Trump and increasingly totalitarian Tory government in the UK, we're seeing our human rights eroded in a way that I've never seen before, and I'm scared. We should all be scared. There's an American journalist who's wrote a book about the Third Reich. He's also a historian. It's called William Shirer. And he's written recently about the really uncomfortable parallels between the Third Reich and the Nazi movement and what's happening in politics in America now. And I would add what's happening in politics in the UK now. It's scary. It's divisive. It's really got to be all of us together. We can't tolerate this. We can't lose our rights. Trump's come out over here apparently to offer us a trade deal. But he's also told us we should walk away from Brexit because if we don't get what we want, walk away. That's what he does. And his trade deal that he's offering us is contaminated food. We have to take that or we don't get the deal. He wants to buy the NHS from us and have it all privatised. These are pillars of the welfare state, just every bit part of our human rights as anything else. Do we really want to lose these? Unless we stick together, it's got to be unite and fight. It's got to be black and white unite and fight. If we don't take care of each other, then we're lost in this game, I'm telling you. So let's all fight. I can't be in London tomorrow. I know that many of you will be. I've got to be up here because I'm in court fighting for somebody else's human rights. I'll be there in spirit, and let's give him a good send-off.